On tonight's episode of Sanity Lounge, we welcome Umar Khan into the studio. Umar grew up around Baltimore and has sharpened his comedic skills into that of a friendliest, coupled with a legit psychology degree and a side gig in counseling. He really is on the new frontier of what comedians can be. His legitimacy is evident by the Assassin's Row of national headliners he opens for, from the likes of Tim Dillon and Kurt Metzger to Mark Norman and Justin Schlegel. Join us in this intimate interview with one of comedy's brightest rising stars from Baltimore on tonight's episode of Sanity Lounge. Welcome to Sanity Lounge. We have a special guest in the studio tonight, Umar Khan, Baltimore's own.
Hey,
comedian.
Yes,
Umar Khan, stand-up comedian. And in my view, like serious, player in the national.
Oh, wow.
If you keep on the run that you're doing,
yeah,
I just feel like you can't miss. Your vibe is just right.
Oh, wow, thank you.
I'm not just showering compliments. I kind of shower compliments at the beginning, but it's genuine.
It's already been national. I mean, the last couple of months you've been where? Denver, Raleigh, Austin, St. Louis.
Yeah, I'll be in St. Louis in the beginning of August. I'll be in Philly this weekend. Yeah,
I mean,
that's awesome.
And my whole thing with you is, the reason that your comedy jives with me is you seem like a genuinely nice guy.
Oh, wow.
Now,
thank you.
Not to say that the roasting and the crowd, comedy's
That's
comedy.
probably not what you want to hear, that you're too nice.
Well, no, dig this.
That is the worst compliment in No, but I know that's not what you're doing. But when people, if another comedian brings up a comedian, they want to know what you think about them, like if they're funny or not.
Right.
And if the first thing someone's like, oh, yeah, they're really nice, that's bad. That's bad. But no one in comedy probably would say I'm really nice.
This is what I'm saying. I'm sure you're a prick, right?
Sure.
Behind closed doors.
Wow.
But
yeah, my wife probably would say that.
My point is that you're like, there's something, even if you're being nasty comedically, it seems okay. I don't know why.
Yeah,
and
you got to do it it took a long time for me to figure out how to come across, how to do it in a night. Be kind of douchey and mean and pokey in hey, we're just messing around here. Right. I don't mean this and we're having fun.
Right. It's an art.
That's got to be a talent in and of itself.
Yeah, well, it took me
it really does
12 years to figure it out.
Yeah, well, it's a serious, it's a way of being a good orator. I don't know. You just haven't, even though you are an asshole sometimes.
Sure.
It's not,
yeah.
But it's just good comedy.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. I'm into that.
And then when I realized that Umar from Baltimore, it's the whole thing.
No, it's great because we
were
just off before we started. We were talking about the Chris Schaefer's variety show. And
yeah.
That's where we saw you there.
Oh,
and Brian standing there, and he's like, "Dude, that's Umar Khan."
Look, and it's so
the
funny.
fact that there's two people over there, like, oh my god, that's Umar, is hilarious to me.
Well, what's even funnier is I never go. I never go out because I play in a band and we do this, and I'm married and have kids, and so I never go out on a weeknight. Well, that night it was the drum thing, and Chris, we had a great episode, and he was like, "Hey, come down." And if I wouldn't have gone, this prick would have sent me a picture of him and you'd be behind him. And I'd be going, like the next day I'm going, that was Umar Khan. Did you tell him about the show? And he'd be like, what?
I didn't.
Yeah, it's like, it was perfect that I went.
Oh, that's great, dude.
Yeah,
hell yeah.
It was like the only night I ever go out, and I met you, which to me is ice.
Wow.
And then I met Landis Expandis.
Yeah, Landis
that was
cool.
cool. He was there.
And I love that guy.
Yeah.
That's,
that was a good time.
It was. And then, because I'm an asshole,
sure,
you had a friend with you who was a comedian,
Brian Preston, super funny.
and Mike Quinlan was there.
Mike Quinlan, also very funny.
Yeah, Owen recognized all those people from the
see,
photos,
I need to get out more,
Yeah.
but it was a lot of people there that were very cool, and I was happy to meet you.
But you don't need to know everybody. That's okay. You can be nice. Who cares?
Yeah.
You don't need to know everybody.
Right? I don't need to be all out and about in the city.
Going out isn't the coolest thing about getting older? Is like when I was young, if it was like Friday night, I was like, I gotta be out.
Yeah.
And now I'm like,
Me and my wife do that like now. Like we got home from like those, or we get home from whatever we're doing early. We're like, and it's Saturday night. And we're like, feel like we should go like across, go have a go do. I'm like,
right,
but what do we?
Right, for sure.
Yeah,
like, I'm kind of comfortable
do
now.
it, and you're like, it wasn't great.
Sure, and it
like
costs money.
and it costs everything costs way too much
it's
now.
Insane.
I mean, we do still go out a lot, but it's
Yeah,
like there's I don't have that like I have to be doing
No,
something.
me neither.
It's great.
I like it.
Umar, are you originally from Baltimore?
I grew up in Catonsville, so
nice.
I guess so. Now I live in the city.
I grew up on Ingleside Avenue.
Oh, I went to Southwest or Johnny Cake Middle. Yeah.
I would have. I went to
funny.
Edmondson Heights Elementary, and then I moved to Carroll County when I was 8.
Damn, because you didn't want to go to Woodlawn. Your parents
My brother went to Woodlawn, and he got his ass kicked.
Yeah, that's what we call white flight, everybody.
Woodlawn.
I didn't go to Woodlawn. We were going to move too if my brother ended up going to Woodlawn. He was older than me, but thank God we got into a magnet school.
No, I mean my mother graduated from Woodlawn in 1964.
Yeah. I mean, it was way different. I mean, like you can tell, like when you drive through a town. I'm sure there's towns all across America like this where like you see these big ass houses that are now like dilapidated, but you can like, oh, this was a rich white neighborhood that were spooked away by black people.
Right. The whole run of Rolling Road is like gorgeous, huge old houses, and you're like, man, there's got to be a lot of history with these.
Oh
things.
yeah.
Like,
I grew. Yeah, Woodlawn. I used to get my hair cut in Woodlawn when I was young. And we used to have our like games and like recitals at Woodlawn because our school wasn't big enough. One time, my brother was having a chorus recital at Woodlawn, and a knife fight broke out between. There was a Woodlawn basketball game going on, and a knife fight broke out between the teams.
That's
right.
That's so funny.
Is that crazy? Then like, this is like 98, and and then they had to like obviously like they had to the recital got canceled, and they had to stay in the school for a long time until like the cops could make sure everything was clear.
So wait, you went to Woodlawn? You didn't go to Woodlawn?
I went to a school
I was
called
say, that
Western
was 98,
Tech.
99. That was around the time like the cereal shit, right?
Oh, 99.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Right.
That was Woodlawn.
Right.
They went to
Woodlawn.
Woodlawn.
That was Best Buy in Woodlawn and Woodlawn Library and all that
dude.
shit.
Yeah.
That shit was
Yeah, I remember that. Well, because my family is Muslim, and I grew up going to that mosque that Adnan, the guy in Serial.
Right. Oh, wow.
And I was in classes with his little brother for years.
Oh wow!
And I remember when that happened that night, my mom sat me down and was like, okay, so he did it. No.
I still don't, that dude didn't do that shit.
I think DNA cleared him.
Yeah.
I got to be honest.
Well, a friend of ours represented him on the reappeal where he just got out.
Oh,
Because he's
really?
out now.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest. I thought for a long time he did it until they said the DNA cleared him.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I think the dude that like parked the car at the parking ride did it. Like the dude that like knew all the information that people were just like, yeah, like you know everything, but we don't think you're a suspect at all. Like, dude, like that dude knew.
But
everything.
I don't know. Just to be clear, we don't know who did it. But,
but I don't think.
But I don't think
did.
Adnan.
No,
right. So
yeah,
and he's out. I mean, right? I mean,
he's
out.
He's out.
Good stuff.
He got a job with a university.
Yeah.
I think Georgetown or somebody.
But he was.
Wow.
I mean, he was in there for 20 years. Over 20 years.
Right.
It's like even if he did do it, he did his time.
Yeah.
Right. That's a long run. Right. That's a long run.
It's kind of sucks so much for the victim's family because they're just like they just see this guy who like in their mind like he did it.
Yeah.
And like whatever, you can't, it's their emotions.
Sure,
or
what
whatever.
the hell can you do? I mean,
but like now you just see the whole world like loving the person who they think is who killed their daughter.
Like he's getting released and everybody's happy.
And everyone loves like this. Yeah, this dude's getting book deals. There's probably gonna be a movie about him.
Yeah, it is an interesting bit of psychological gymnastics.
Yeah.
Although if he's innocent, it's like he should
Well, if he's innocent, then they're never going to figure out who was guilty.
And that was my big thing, like also like this obsession we have with like murder documentaries, and serial killers. Like I mean, whatever. Like I'm guilty. I love that stuff. But I remember like not so much anymore, but there was like a period where people were like really going after comedians for saying like the wrong things. Sure. And I'm not one of these like comedians who's like, I don't think the world's like uptight or whatever, like, but I think there was a period where it was a little scary.
Right.
And the same people who are like, you can't punch down or you can't say this word, you shouldn't joke about this, were listening to like podcasts about murderers.
That's a great take.
And they even had one called My Favorite Murder. Right. Like this one's my favorite. Like that's so gross. That's way more gross than like anything I've ever said on stage.
The one you have to, right.
Yeah. Like also, it's just like, dude, like these people have killed like so many people, and there's people who are hurting still from it, and like this is entertainment for you.
Right.
That blew my mind.
What you got to worry about is the wives who love watching Snapped.
What's Snapped?
Is when wives go nuts and killing their husbands.
They come home, they're like, I've been on a marathon.
There's millions of seasons of it. My wife loves watching it. She was on not so much anymore, but she was on like she was addicted to Snapped for a while. And I'm like watching it with her, and I'm just like looking at her.
So Umar, did you always want to be a comedian? You said you're a psychiatrist?
By day, I'm a school psychologist.
Okay, and was that the original dream, or were you always kind of
what came first
towards comedy?
No, I wasn't. I mean, like all comics start out doing comedy. I think they fall into the same way. Like you see somebody doing it, and you're like, I can do that.
What age was this?
I was a senior in high school, so 17.
Gotcha.
And my buddy was doing a talent show in the basement of the Catonsville Public Library.
Nice.
So it was like very it was mostly like kids. I mean, we were kids, but like young kids.
Sure.
Like Epstein Island age kids. and I saw him do it, and I was always, I was a class clown in high school. Like I really broke out of my shell in high school, and I was like, oh, I want to do that. I think I can do that. And I started writing jokes. We went to a couple open mics, and I didn't know anything about comedy. And we went to a comedy open mic in Arbutus, and no one was there except for the other comedians, and they were all like adult, like they were like all these. To me, they're like old. They're probably like in their late 20s, early 30s,
right?
And they were used to, because when you start out comedy, you're used to nobody being there besides comics. And I was like, I'm not doing this. This sucks. Like, so we left because I got nervous, and I was just like, I'm like, I'm not gonna perform to nobody,
right?
So then, dude, that was my only attempt at age 17, 18, and then I didn't start doing comedy until I was a senior in college.
Wow.
My buddy Fish, he used to do comedy. I met him sometime in college. And when he met me, he was like, dude, are you a comedian? I was like, no. He's like, you talk like a stand-up comedian. And I was like, oh, that's funny. I've always wanted to do it. Mm-hmm. And then one day he saw that there was a open mic at my college. He's like, hey, you should do it. If you do it, I'll do it. And I was like, cool. And then we both did it. And then I never looked back. And that was like in 2010.
Nice.
Yeah, it was crazy.
That's awesome.
So did you get a degree?
I have a master's degree.
Nice.
I have a master's plus. Yeah,
in stupid. Comedy.
No.
And so
psychology. Child psychologist.
So the parents.
School. Yeah.
You're pretty responsible seeming. You got a legit job.
I got a job.
You're moonlighting with the dream.
Moonlighting with a dream that is quickly fading. But no, yeah, I mean, dude, I have like immigrant parents, and they always, I don't know, I can speak for mine, like very fear-based. Mm-hmm. Like my dad lost his parents very young, had to raise like 6 brothers and sisters. So he was always like, always worried about like money and the bad things happening. And so like he put into our brains from like a young age that like, you got to make money.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And also they were always broke growing up.
Right.
But so I didn't want to do that, relive that as an adult. And they always, that's the thing with immigrants. They come here because they want their kids to go to school and do well. And I mean, I didn't become a doctor, an engineer, or anything like that.
Yeah, but still, I mean, you're doing all right.
Yeah, I do fine. I mean, my parents don't think so.
Do they come see your shows?
They have seen my show. Yeah, they can't see this new act because this new act is a lot about them. And it's really dirty. It's the dirtiest I've been on stage.
Did you tell them they shouldn't see this act?
No, they just kind of... Well, here's the thing about my parents. Like, at first, they thought it was cool.
Right.
Like, also, I didn't let my parents see me do comedy because, like, they always told me, like, this is stupid. Like, why you ruin your career doing this. You might get in trouble, which I almost did one time. And I didn't let them see me do comedy until 2016. So I'd been doing it for 6 years.
Wow.
And I booked my first, like, big... At the time, it felt huge. I was I was hosting for this comedian, Hari Kanobolo, who's like at the time was blowing up. He sold out 2 shows at this local theater called Creative Alliance. And he's been on TV and he's brown. And I was like, it's a sold out show. So I was like, I brought my parents to that and they liked it. And like, I was relatively clean, more thoughtful. I mean, like, still, I think funny, but I was just like a different
Not
comedian.
as jaded.
Right? Yeah. Well, I just didn't know how to at the time, be mean and funny. I kind of learned that. Well, I didn't learn, but I was just like, okay, I don't have that skill set. And I just was like, this isn't like, when I first started, I was doing like offensive jokes, but I didn't have the stage presence to pull it off. Right. Now I'm just like a guy with a microphone who's just being an asshole.
Right. So how did you start? Did you do the crowd work first or the bits first and worked into the crowd work? And what do you like doing more?
Crowd work came later out of like necessity. Like, so like it was all bits. And then here's the thing about like comedy now, it's like really annoying is like, I did like doing crowd work. And I remember Stavros, he's like huge now.
Right.
We started together and we used to run a show together. And I remember he was like, "Oh, dude, you're really good at crowd work." And I remember like, I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." So I was like, "Yeah, I'll keep doing some crowd work every now and then." And then you get more into comedy, and you're told by like older comedians, by clubs, like, "Hey, don't do crowd work. No one likes crowd work. It's gonna kill your career. No one cares about it." And I've seen other comedians.
It's bullshit. That's bullshit.
Well, at the time, it was kind of true.
Right.
And then comedians would talk down on other comics who did crowd work, so I just stopped doing it. And now all these people have made careers at like the same people who have told me
of course
that it's stupid, it's hack, are millionaires now,
right? And I guess the biggest thing, and I guess you kind of have to. What would make it hard on you is you start reading the room immediately and like
sure.
What if do you know like instantly if it's going to work or not?
No, I think
like I guess if you have an audience that's
but now
like not participating or they're just like one word answers.
Sure, yeah, you just gotta go with it. Yeah. And like I think, but I always now like when I headline, I always start out with just mentioning things like. Always just start out fucking with the crowd because like once you can get them to laugh like that, they're going to trust you immediately and you can get away with pretty much anything. And if you fuck up, they'll forgive you. Like I just headlined Magoobies at a local club here.
Yep.
I didn't know. I was talking to this Italian guy. He was this 66-year-old Italian guy with a super hot 25-year-old black chick. Like so and I was like, "Wait, you guys." They're like, "Yeah." I was like, "You guys are," and then so I was like, "How did you meet?" And dude, he was her landlord, and whatever. So just insane. So I was like, I could do a whole show with just these people.
Here, right.
Anyway, he's Italian, and I was just like messing around. I didn't know that. I don't even know how offensive. I called him a wop.
Oh,
I did not, dude. So like,
did it go?
There's 100. There's probably like 150, 170 people there.
Right.
They all reacted like you did, and I didn't know that it was like a slur.
right.
And he didn't care. He was the only one. He was just like, "Oh, I don't."
Yeah.
And I just remember like legitimately on stage, like I felt so bad. I apologize, and then the crowd could tell like I didn't fucking know.
Sure.
That, and I will say that Italians. You guys,
I think
To be clear,
you gotta let. I mean, like, it's not that.
to be
offensive,
clear,
right?
I don't have any.
half
fucking
of my
problem.
family's Sicilian, and
Yeah.
I don't think any of my mother might. I don't know, maybe
Yeah.
some of them, but I would never
To be clear, I don't have a problem with it at all. But
Yeah.
we were like one of our good buddies is
Reno.
always
We used to call Reno the Wop.
You know, and he was fine with it. And it's
Yeah.
like, but all of a sudden in
no,
the
but
early
it is
aughts
a
or whatever,
derogatory term.
In
that's
the
for
early
sure.
aughts, it's equated with like the
Guinea.
hard ones, right? It's
Guinea.
like,
That's the word I was trying to find on stage, but I guess that's a
Guinea.
I
that's
think
offensive
that's the same, yeah,
too, right?
yeah.
Like I didn't know that it was that. Like I just thought they. Well, I guess you could say that for the N word. I just thought they called each other that.
right. Well, you know, that's,
I don't think so.
I swear to God, I thought Italian. But that's the thing. I just, I don't know. Yeah, but also Italians are. I don't know. They really like to say they're not white, but I'm like, you guys are pretty white.
Right? Oh yeah, they are.
I'm on record.
I don't
I'm
think-
on record saying they are maybe the most annoying group in America.
But
Ooh,
Italians don't go around calling each other wops.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't. No, they don't.
no. Yeah, it wouldn't be good
Well, dude,
business.
I learned from my dad, like I'm Pakistani,
Right.
And my friends just growing up, like would call me Packy all the time, Wacky Packy, whatever. And like I didn't think anything of it. So I remember one time I called my dad a Packy, and he got so mad. And then I learned that like Packy is like the N-word.
Wow.
In England, because like in England, there's a big Pakistani population, and a lot of people in England do not want them there.
Wow.
And so they call them Packies, and it's like a slur. And I didn't know that, but
Damn.
I think. I mean, being a Baltimore fan, I hate the Yankees, but that like. Speaking of the Italians, I don't care how white you are. As soon as you put on a Yankee uniform,
You're
I
an
feel like
Italian.
you look immediately like a
Yeah.
wop.
A little bit more Italian.
Oh,
You do,
dude. Oh,
especially
yeah.
if you grow a mustache when you have
and
the
then you got
Yankee
that,
uniform
that
on.
chain.
Yeah,
Italians love.
Doesn't matter.
Italians love chains.
Yeah. They have the horn. Yeah.
The
My mother
horn?
has the horn. Yeah. It's like
What's the horn?
It's an Italian horn. It's a gold chain with a horn on it.
Wow. So you're
I'd
Italian.
have to look it up. Half Italian.
And you?
Yeah.
Nah, I'm German, French, and
Yeah.
a little bit of Italian.
The other thing that's really annoying, and look, I don't really actually hate Italian, but just like an observation is, I should put that out there, is
Yeah, it's fine, man.
Italians
anyone.
are so funny to me because they like really take pride in their food.
Oh yeah.
Right.
And look, I've never been to like Italy, so like I'm assuming that is probably amazing food. But American Italian food, like it's all pretty much the same thing in different shapes, right? Like
It's Heartburn City, man.
yeah, it's Heartburn City, and it's just like it's pasta and sauce for pretty much
Yeah, but
90%
that
of
sauce can be fucked up easily.
Sure, I'll give you that, and there can be like but it's like the way Italians talk, they act like no other cuisine comes close to
Yeah,
theirs, and I'm
right.
like, dude, and they'll say like things like, oh, you can't go over my mother's house without eating her food. You gotta leave full. I'm like, that's every culture is that. I'm
Right.
like, go to an Indian house. You're gonna eat until you shit yourself.
Yeah.
Like, literally.
Sure.
Like
Right.
Indian brown people, Pakistani people, like you cannot not, dude. I'll eat
Right.
one plate, and like I'm full, and my parents like, you just ate one plate. Okay, and they like try to bully you into eat. I'm like, that's every culture though, because that's like a
Yeah,
love.
that's true.
That's
That's
love and like showing like respect, and it's just funny that Italians have Bogarted,
Right.
but you know,
They've
people,
hung
They
their
have.
hat.
They're
Yeah.
proud of you.
Right.
Go over there for lunch, and they have a 7-course
the-
lunch spread.
It's the
Yeah,
calling
yeah,
card
yeah.
of their whole shtick is the cuisine. You are
yeah.
right about
But
that.
hey, you know, they did discover America, so
Oh shit!
they did steal America.
Here we go. So, were your parents religious? Did you grow up ultra religious?
No, my parents weren't like super religious. We would go to the mosque like on holidays. They tried. I'm an atheist, and I think I've been an atheist since I was a child. But they tried to like. There's like a thing in Islam where every Muslim has to read the Quran in Arabic front to back.
Right.
And like most Muslim kids like finish by the time they're like 7.
Right.
Like me and my brother did not finish until we were like 17, I think, because we kept putting it off.
Right.
Yeah, we were like, we're like slow Muslims. Yeah. Or like other Muslims, they called us Jews. But I remember we weren't super religious. Like, I mean, there's just like basic things like no drinking, no eating pork. But like my parents were pretty chill, secular. Like we were allowed to, like my parents like knew like, you know, we're going to date, we're going to go to dances. I know a lot of families who I know kids who had arranged marriages essentially.
Right.
No, they had to hide dating. Their parents still don't know that they drink, you know, all like I drink in front of my parents now because I got to a certain point. I was like, well, fuck, like I'm an adult.
Yeah, right.
And
you have to be you.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard with certain cultural like you don't want to upset them. Right.
Yeah,
so
sure.
a lot of these things you do, like kids, like Muslim kids will do is, you know, it's just like out of respect for their family.
Right.
Yeah, right.
It's not that
It's
don't
traditions.
respect my family, but I'm like, there's so many things that my family just shits on about me.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, well, fuck you. I'm going to have if I have to hang out with you and listen to like how many poor life decisions I've made, I'm going to do it drunk. I'm not doing it sober. Do you know what I mean? Like every dinner is like, why didn't you marry a Pakistani? Why did you become a psychologist, not a doctor? Why do you live in the city? Like that is literally those topics. Maybe not the wife thing anymore because they love my wife, but like all that, it's just like negativity. And I'm like, if you guys want this conversation, I will be inebriated.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this: when you read the Quran, are you fluent?
No, so that's another, like, you know, I don't want to upset anybody, but like this other thing about like religion that's so frustrating to me is like you have to do all these things and no one knows why. So I'd be like, okay, well, like you were taught how to read Arabic, but I don't know what I'm reading.
Right. That's what I was curious about. If you
it
knew
makes
what
no
you're reading.
sense, but apparently Arabic is the language of God,
right?
Or that's like the language that he spoke this to Abraham, I think.
Yes.
And so it's the direct words of God in that language, and everyone's supposed to read it in that language. So like that's why.
And it could be sung. It's supposed to be
very
beautiful.
like sing. It is very sing-songy. Yeah.
You know. But I was just curious. I mean, it's a I was just curious if you could like what you were reading.
No, had no idea.
I'd be curious.
And then I started reading like the. My parents, like, you know, they were really upset because they're getting older. They're getting more religious because I think like they're thinking about like, you know, when they die.
Right. Sure, sand's running out of the hour.
Yeah.
It happens.
And my dad's like, please, can you give it a chance? And I'm like, he's like, you didn't even give it a chance. I'm like, yeah, but you didn't even question it. You didn't even give. There's hundreds of other religions that you just that you automatically think are wrong.
Sure.
But so they gave me like an English translation version, and you start reading. You're like, okay, well, all this.
You said this is ridiculous.
This is not true. None of this is true. That's the thing. I was like, Dad, maybe you should read in English. Or
you said, have you looked at this?
Or Urdu, and you'd be like,
you know what you're reading?
I mean, what the hell are we doing here? I'm like, have you had bacon? It's unreal good. That's the only thing I lie to my parents about is that I eat pork, and I lie to them about it.
I'm assuming they're not going to be listening to this.
No, hopefully not. But some, you know, who knows? I had to like unfriend them and their friends on social media because my parents just like don't understand social media. Like I would just troll or like just post jokes, and like my parents don't like. My parents don't understand. I think also older people, they just think like. They don't understand that young people online don't look at like Facebook and Instagram and all that. Like we don't look at it as like real.
Right.
So I will never be genuine on the internet.
Right.
Because I think trusting your true thoughts and feelings with the internet is psychotic.
Right.
It's Russian roulette.
Yeah, you could post the most thoughtful thing in the first comments and be like, you're gay. You know what I mean? Like, you just poured your heart out and some 12-year-old's like, you're gay. And he did it because he knows it's going to get you, and it got you, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So, I would post jokes, and also, like, really innocuous jokes, like, I can't remember, one joke was, like, something about, like, I'm tired of, like, our parents' generation, like, calling us, like, dumb or whatever. I'm like, these are the same idiots who, like, fed us Panera bread every day because they thought it was healthy just because there was like carpet on the ground. You know what I mean? And my dad took that as me literally calling him an idiot.
Right.
And I'm like, it's just a fucking observation about.
You said you're gonna have to get this comedy thing.
But
they
did that like 3 times. Like my mom would call me like upset, and I'm like, Mom, I'm gonna. And then I was like, I finally blocked them, and then my mom called me crying. That she was like, please, no, we know you're joking. I was like, you don't know I'm joking, and so
you're just saying that.
She's been blocked ever since.
Nice.
And you know what? Fuck her. Good. She should stay blocked.
That's hilarious.
It is crazy. Old people got to get the fuck, dude. All my dad. I talk about this in my act now, but like, all my dad does is like he's just on YouTube, and it's not good.
Yeah,
right.
And he believes in crazy shit. Like my dad is, my wife's parents. Like they're very like, they're big Trump people. Mm-hmm. And her mom's like, I think very got into like, she doesn't know, but she was saying a lot of QAnon type things.
No, right.
And so like they don't trust hospitals and doctors anymore. Right. And somehow my dad, even though he's a liberal, also doesn't trust doctors anymore.
Right.
I think the older
because
you
of
get,
the internet.
you just start enjoying being angry at everything.
Yeah,
that's right. It's a wild world.
I mean, I guess
the
world we live in should be
opposite,
easy
right?
for you to come up with material at this point.
Well, here's the thing. It's like with all this lunacy happening, it's only a matter of time before everyone eats each other.
Yeah.
And then,
this past weekend,
Well, it's like it's happening. And so once everybody eats each other, because it's strange bedfellows. Like right now, somebody just said this recently. Like in other words, like the people who were hardcore.
I've never heard that.
Okay, well, let me explain to you. Like the people that were hardcore anti-vax, whatever your position is, it doesn't,
Yeah.
But if you
like
were
Jenny
hardcore,
McCarthy.
if you were hardcore
it was like
anti-vax,
dumb Hollywood people.
Oh yeah.
But it's like if you're hardcore anti-vax, those people better not be getting these fucking Ozempic shots. Not one of them. And I bet you money.
Oh, they are.
A shitload of them are getting these Ozempic shots. And it's like, so
you can
it's
tell
like
though, because they instantly look older and weird.
You just pick your anger. And I feel like everyone, strange bedfellows. So now the anti-vaxxers, like who hate this kind of stuff, are going to be in bed with the Ozempic people before they know it. And they're going to be allies because it's like, it's same way with, so it's just a weird world.
But don't you feel, I think that's so, I mean, I agree with what you're saying. It's crazy to me because the older I get, the softer I get.
I agree.
Absolutely.
And also, I just care less about things.
I don't,
it's so hard for me to be angry about something that is not directly in front of me or of impacting my life.
Sure, yeah.
So
I
agree
with that 100%.
Which makes it harder to like write jokes. I think like I feel like I'm like having a hard time generating material lately, and that's why I'm looking inward now instead of like outward. It used to a lot to be like commentary on like what I'm seeing and blah blah blah. But like I just don't like. One day we were outside the Port Comedy Club. It's a cool club in Fells, and this other younger comic was like, Umar, what do you think of like men with like emotional support dogs? And I was like, I don't give a shit. Like I have zero opinion. Like it doesn't bother me in one way or the other. But like if I was young, I'd probably be like, what? These people, they're so blah, blah. But now I'm just like, hey, it sounds great. Maybe we should all have. Maybe if like more dudes had emotional support dogs, there'd be less shooting.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
I'd say that's.
But it's just so funny that like like I like to have a strong opinion now is so hard.
How
for
old
me.
are you?
I'm only 35.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's funny. It'll get worse.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll get better.
I think it's great. Yeah, it gets better because like.
But I got to tell you, it's an art form, and not everybody is like that.
Yeah.
I am just that way. Like I don't care. I care about weird things, but very rarely am I riled up about what everybody's riled up about.
No, it's crazy.
I'm like,
everybody
what the hell is
I'm
everybody
usually
so
the most
upset
laid
about?
back
Like,
person on the planet because I generally don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd say things don't really stress me out. Like,
right.
They do, but not. I don't show it a lot, which actually is like a.
Well, I get stressed out, but things like today, I was stressed. I was like, shit, I went to the gym late. Now I'm fucking making dinner late. Now, my therapist is running. Now I gotta shower and I'm running late to so like that, like I was in a ball of stress.
Right.
But like the idea of like hearing something Trump said and it like like living in my brain and like impacting
Affecting
my mood
your day, right.
and my day is almost psychotic to me.
Right.
Unless I get it, you're a woman, you live in a state where like Roe v. Wade was overturned. That sucks. But for the most part, like it is like psychotic. It's all manufactured. It is being manufactured. This like we are being made to be angry on purpose, and it's crazy how well it is working.
Well, statistically, they've proven that's where the money's at. It's hate and anger and riling up sells.
Freud said that long time. Like Freud, like we're obsessed with violence and sex.
Right.
He said that, and that's pretty much what drives.
I mean, it's more or less
society and
it's
social
entertainment.
Media. Yeah,
at this point,
so
it is. You're right.
I mean,
it's like a
form of entertainment. Yeah, I mean, politics is right. It's like watching your favorite sports team.
The thing.
And
it's like
hating the opposing team.
If you tune in every week to a show, not Sanity Lounge, but if you tune into a show that has a one side bent, you are in an echo chamber. You know, and that's just it. And that's fine if that's what you want to be in. That's fine. You know, but it's like you have to understand that. It's entertainment. These people have monetized their show.
Yeah.
If you feel good about things, you won't. You'll stop visiting their show.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, so it's like they have to kind of keep you riled up. I mean, not that there's nothing to be upset about. Things are upsetting,
and it's going to get even
but
crazier
if
over
you're
the next 3 months.
If you're monetizing that upset,
wild.
know this: if you monetize that upset, you're not helping. At all.
Right. But the other thing is like most people also don't realize like, dude, you're just talking about the internet. Right. So like people will be like Karen's or my wife, her name is Karen. Her mom.
I heard that in your stuff. That was awesome.
Her mom will be like, wait, so you guys, I've seen all the videos of like kids like robbing places and looting and car stealing. And I'm like, and she's like, do you see them? We're like, no, what are you talking? I'm like, no.
Right.
And that's the thing. It's like you're watching these. It's coming across your feed all the time. So in your brain, you think it happens more than it does.
Right.
But like you walk outside and you're like, yeah, everything's chill. Like I live in Baltimore and everyone, thinks it's like, it's so like everyone thinks it's like this super scary place. I'm like, dude, I went for a run in front of $3 million homes where like if I blindfolded you and dropped you off and removed your blindfold, you would never in a million years guess you were in Baltimore. So it's just like this funny thing people just
this is what we want at Sanity Lounge.
Yeah,
positivity for Baltimore.
Like and then like it's annoying because comedians do it. Comedians will do these whole bits like they're angry over stuff that they're just seeing on TikTok or on the internet. Like, do you see these people? They're diagnosing themselves with autism, and it's like, who? Like, dude, you wouldn't. No one. Did you? No one even. There's like the amount of people doing that is so small,
right?
That to talk about it is insane to me,
right? Well, that's what I said. Like with like TMZ, like all the articles about celebrities backlash,
right?
The celebrity backlash is from 3 tweets,
yes,
not like there's not a million people that have been like fuck them. Like what? It's 3 tweets. They write an article about it. They put the good title for clickbait,
right?
Now, but then you get people that are like, "Oh, did you hear what happened?" Like that,
right? Well, we had Ricky Wise. We've had a lot of Baltimore artists, like drummers, bands, and stuff. But we've asked most of them just their vibes of the city, and because I play in an '80s cover band, and if you play anywhere near the city, it's very hard to get people to come into the city.
That's so funny you said
what
that.
What the fuck? I mean,
I went on 98 Rock to promote a gig that I was doing at Magooby's, and a lot of Magooby's is in Timonium County.
Sure, yeah.
It's like 20 minutes outside where I live. Bunch of people came. I was like, oh shit, I didn't even think anyone listened to the radio. And dude, I got off the radio show, I got all these text messages, and I was like, and then like, dude, a lot of people at Magooby's like, we heard you on the radio that you were funny, so we came. Great. I went back to promote a show that was in Fells Point, and Justin Schlegel, the host of 98 Rock, who's hysterical.
He's awesome.
Was opening for me on that show. He was just being nice.
Right.
And nobody came from that park.
Yeah, it's
zero because it was
wild.
in the city.
Right.
And
It
that's
is,
how
man.
fucking scared people
That's
are.
No, that's what
obnoxious.
everybody we talk to has to say, and they're like, it's like 50-50. Most lean towards not coming down. They're like, oh, I'll come,
Yeah.
but it's in the city. I don't know. I'm gonna get
look,
murdered.
I get it. You got if it's like a kid, you work, you
Yeah.
just want to. But if it's you're scared, that's so funny
Right.
to me.
Right.
And it's like also parking. County people cannot parallel park. County people and rural people who live outside of a city it's so funny. Like parallel parking will break their soul.
Right,
It's
yeah.
And I'm a liberal, and I get called a pussy because I don't know how to set up a tent or whatever. Or I'm like, yeah, but we all have to pass a test of parallel park. No one had to
Right, no.
Yeah, sorry, I don't know how to shoot a deer.
Well, I don't know.
I swear to Christ,
do you
I don't
still
think
have
they-
to
I
parallel
don't
park
think you
in
have
the
to
driving
Oh, the
parallel
test?
test not
park.
anymore. You're right.
You
Yeah,
don't?
I swear.
No, you don't. They took
dude,
it out.
I don't think you have to
because
anymore.
most of the country probably doesn't need
Right.
to parallel park.
Oh, it's worse. Most of the cars will do it for you
Yeah.
in the future, and so they're like,
Oh,
"Fuck
that
it."
rocks.
It's like I mean,
I did have. You just did Magoobies
Yeah.
like 2 Saturdays ago or something? Or last Saturday?
Yeah, 2 or 3.
Did you open for Chris Kattan?
No, I headlined. So
Oh, okay.
I headlined a Friday, or I had a Saturday. Chris Kattan was there the weekend after me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Damn it, I was looking at the wrong weekend because I
Yeah.
said to you.
oh yeah, that's right. You
Yeah.
did text me. You were like, "Are they open?" That's right. I forgot.
Why? What do you want to know about Chris Kattan?
Oh no, nothing. I thought I didn't know because
I'll tell you things about him after the show.
Did you've met him then?
No, I've had friends who've opened for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll bet you it's
Yeah,
wild.
it's wild. In a bad way.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, he seems like he's a broken man. He seems
Yeah,
like
you
a
know
nice
what? Fucking,
guy.
he is I don't know him. He doesn't know me.
Right.
He's
Right.
yeah, he is a very broken
It
man. I'll
seems-
say
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, it seems that way.
He hasn't done much
so-
since Saturday Night Live, I guess.
Huh?
He hasn't done much since Saturday Night Live.
No.
Well, he got into a wreck or something that wrecked his spine,
Right.
and he had to get spine surgery. And I'm pretty sure he got a sweet tooth and had an opiate or some sort of issue.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because and the only reason why I fucking know this is because of some, there was some show it wasn't Celebrity Rehab, but it was something to that effect. No, you know what it was? Dancing with the Stars.
Oh, Chris Kattan
He did that?
Dancing with the Stars.
I think it was Dancing with the Stars. If not that, it was something like that where they were like, he was telling his story about what
Right.
happened since Saturday Night Live, and it's fucked up.
Right.
Something fucked up happened.
Yeah.
Not
okay.
to excuse it, but something's
Yeah,
weird.
whatever.
you know.
Yeah.
So let me ask you something, Umar.
Sure,
Are you a
please.
movie guy?
I am not.
Not?
Sorry. No, I mean I watch, but I'm not a movie guy.
Okay, so if I said, do you have 3 favorite movies?
No.
Wow.
Do you have one?
That's number
No.
2. You're the second person.
I don't have a
we've
favorite
met
movie.
on Earth.
I don't have a favorite TV show, but I consume
Right.
movies and TV shows.
And nothing. They
Have
do
you seen-
nothing
have
for
you
It's not they don't do it. I'm not I just don't it's just I do it if I have nothing else to do.
Have you seen a movie more than once? The same
Sure.
movie. The
Yeah.
same movie. What? Can you remember?
Oh my god, Half Baked,
Okay.
all the
Okay.
comedies.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you can't give me a top 3
No.
of all times of movies
All
that
time?
impressed Umar Khan.
I mean, so many movies have impressed me.
Well, that's
but
what I'm talking about. What's a movie that you would say if somebody, I know it's a hard hitting question.
But that's the thing. It would just be the most recent movies I've
I
seen
got
that have
you.
impressed me. It wouldn't be a I can't name because I probably haven't even seen name a classic movie.
The Godfather.
Never seen it.
Damn.
Name another classic movie.
Pulp Fiction.
I just watched that for the first time. Loved it. It was
Okay.
great.
Just
Yeah.
watched
all
that for
right.
the first
Watched that
time
for the first
in
time this
'95.
past
You
year.
just it's the first time
That's
Pulp
incredible.
Fiction. Have you seen? Is that the only Quentin? Have you seen all Quentin Tarantino's
Saw Reservoir
movies?
Dogs around the same time. Love that too.
That's good.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, all his movies are great.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen other Tarantino's, like the newer ones.
Yeah.
Like I saw his
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. That's the most. recent
No, I
one.
haven't seen
That's
that
a good
one.
one.
It's
Oh,
just
man,
too
I love
long.
that
I can't
Glorious Bastards.
long.
That's Brad
love
Pitt
that
killing
movie.
Nazis.
Yeah, that movie, Glorious Bastards, is really
Yeah.
good.
Hateful
That was
Eight.
good. Nice.
Hateful Eight. I mean, we just
Hateful
went
Eight's
down the
amazing.
whole.
Yeah.
The whole.
But
list.
yeah, not a movie guy. The thing is
Jaws.
Seen Jaws. As a
good.
child, I saw
Good.
Jaws. Loved it.
Nice.
Never saw Jaws 2, I think.
Jaws 2 is good.
Jaws 2 is
3
good.
has got to be.
3
3 I saw, it's real bad.
3 is wild and bad.
Even as a kid, I knew
it's
that
Dennis
was bad.
Quaid. That was 1985. 3D, new technology, terrible.
We saw it.
85?
85 that came out.
83.
No, Jaws
3 was 1983.
What was
sure?
Jaws
Yep.
1?
It was Return of
75.
Jedi. 75.
What?
Jaws
We
2.
just did our last episode
just
was
did a
on
Jaws
Jaws.
episode.
We released it on the
Holy
4th of July.
Shit, I did
Yeah,
not know
1975. And Jaws 4, The Revenge with
Which
Michael
was
Caine
awful.
and Mario Van Peebles came out in 1987.
that.
But
Good Lord, I wasn't even born yet.
still, Jaws 3 is the only one that had a CG shark, and it
Yeah.
looked terrible.
You know, like when Jaws, obviously when like I'm sure most people know that, but when Jaws came out, like it like scared people
Yeah.
from
Oh
the
my
beaches
God.
and stuff. But now sharks are actually a problem.
Oh yeah, like you look at the
up in
videos of
Boston.
Jaws or Florida where it just shows like a
Yeah.
helicopter and there's like 1,000 sharks just cruising around.
Yeah, but that's
the,
normal because
the
that's like
beach.
I'm a pretty big. I got really into sharks for a while.
Oh.
And so I watched like a shit ton of documentaries
Just
on sharks.
because out of nowhere.
I
you
just I got really into killer whales. I watched a bunch of documentaries on them, bears. So I love nature.
You went on a
documentaries.
nature run, right?
Went on a nature run. Sharks, because the waters are so warm now.
Right.
More are going north, so there's a lot more sharks on the northeast.
And like great white sharks.
Great whites
Yeah.
too. So like, there's been an uptick in shark attacks, like in like New York,
Oh, God.
Massachusetts,
That's
Jersey, and and like there's there's shark. I mean, they've always been here, but there's just been more and more attacks.
I think that's got to be one of the worst ways to die is be eaten.
You think so?
I don't know. I
Especially in the water, you're so helpless.
Right, like just right.
Like,
And
would you rather be because someone put this scenario, like, would you rather be fighting a bear or a shark? That's tough.
God damn.
Yeah.
a bear in the water?
Bear in the water, I would drown. Because did you see that video? There's a video of a guy who jumped into a bear enclosure, and there was water, and then like he jumped into the water, and the bear jumped in the water, and he was just holding the bear down.
Really?
So you kind of can get an advantage in the water.
Yeah.
Wow.
Goddamn.
That's
Would you
interesting.
rather fight a bear or
I got
fight
to
a
go
shark?
with a bear because even though I know it would outpower me, I feel like
There's a chance.
I could get the drop on the sun, but somehow
If you
I
could
don't
get
know
away
how.
from it, you're not
Yeah.
going to get away from the shark.
But a shark, it's like I can't.
I mean, bears can run like
swim.
30 miles an hour.
Oh
yeah,
God.
but I mean, maybe you get up in a tree.
They climb
I can get a
trees
chokehold.
so
Yeah.
well. See,
Can
this
you
is
get-
tough.
Not the big ones. Like a
No.
big grizzly bear is probably not going to climb.
Can
a
you
tree.
get a rear
Have you
naked
seen
choke?
a big bear?
if it's a big bear, they'll just knock the tree down.
Yeah.
You see, I don't know if you could get a rear naked choke on a bear or like, but I feel like it's even though the odds are grim either way.
That's a wild question.
The bear, I feel like, is
because both
is the
like
way,
a shark's going to bite you.
And do one
A
bite
bear
could
is
just do
gonna-
damage.
A
Right.
bear is gonna like rip you apart,
Yeah.
like rip you completely apart, and then eat you. And chances are, like he might have ripped your legs off, and you're still laying there
Right,
watching
right.
watching this thing eat your leg.
Yeah. But
Like a shark will probably kill you
can
almost
kill you
immediately.
in one bite
Yeah.
if it gets you in the right
My
spot.
thing with the shark is like say you stick with the say you stick with the Jaws vibe and it's a
Yeah.
20-footer, right?
Yeah.
If you're in that fucking mouth,
Sure.
that snout, right? The triangle's right here. Those eyes, baby.
Yeah.
They're just like
Yeah.
like it's. I mean, that's a rough.
Yeah,
I just don't know. you
I
know?
and then
read-
getting salt water in your cut.
And you
oof.
got fucking salt water
dude,
everywhere.
that Alex Kittner picture popped up again with a description of like everything about it. Like, remember when the kid gets eaten in Jaws? Like the kid Alex Kittner, he's out on the raft.
yeah.
So
That was like the opening. Right?
yeah,
Yeah,
the begin.
yeah,
Well, the after
when
the
they
girl,
open the beaches and
very
they're like,
first
go out
girl.
and swim. He
Right,
goes out and
right.
he yells. So there's an image online of what they wanted. Instead, it's just him like being just whipped around and then he gets pulled under. There's blood. But there's
Yeah.
an image of Steven Spielberg almost had Jaws come up out of the water, mouth open, and just eat this kid.
Oh my god.
And there's a black and white image of the actual
they-
event
they
because
shot it.
they shot the event. And they were like, That's too much.
It would have fucking
Today
ruled.
they would do that.
Yeah. Oh, today.
Oh, yeah. When they remake Jaws, they'll do that.
They're not going to remake Jaws.
They-
They've already they made the Meg, and I like the Meg. Jason Statham fighting a fucking megalodon
You
is
would
the best
love
shit.
the Meg. I know.
Dude,
Of
I
all
love the Meg
people,
and the Meg 2. I've seen them both.
I did not watch Meg 2. I needed Meg 1 to be better. I needed it to be more like Jaws. I thought it was
liked it.
fine, but it wasn't
Jason
Jaws,
Statham
you know?
fighting
There was a shark
megalodon.
movie where like the sharks were smart, and then they were like in some facility.
Deep Blue.
Deep
Blue Sea.
That was
that
as
was
a
a good
child,
one. Yeah.
loved it.
LL Cool J. Your
Yes.
ladies love Cool J.
He lives
And
in
then-
that movie.
Was LL Cool? Some guy.
Sam Jackson.
Sam Jackson
Sam
got
Jackson was
killed.
the
He
one
was
that-
giving the speech at the
speech.
bottom, and the shark just goes
Remember,
out.
we were in Florida when we watched that.
I like
Deep
movies
Blue
like
Sea's
that.
all-
That was
That
those
was
are
wild.
Deep Blue Sea
Good
is
times.
awesome.
I like a good, just dumb fucking action.
And that cast, it was like, I want to say, who's that New York comedian? He's kind of a rough around the edges. Michael, real New York accent, Rappaport.
Oh, yeah.
Michael Rappaport.
He was in that?
Yeah, I
He
think
was
he
in
was
that,
one of the
yes.
crew
Yep.
guys. There was a
Yeah.
lot of good people in that movie, but that was a good movie.
Yeah,
that was
Thomas.
good.
It's Thomas Jane, right?
Thomas
Yeah.
Jane, yeah.
He's the star.
What about music? Are you?
Yeah, I was gonna
Oh,
say
love
music.
music. You guys probably don't like. So I grew up listening to a lot of like pop punk.
Mm-hmm.
So like Blink-182 got me into punk rock
Mm-hmm.
music, and they're still my like all time.
Really?
And it's cool to like as a child, like everyone called you gay, whatever, for liking Blink-182 because like they're not a real punk band.
I would probably call you that now.
Yeah.
He's a jackass. Don't
But no, I
I
don't
like
care. But
90s, but not now.
it is fun because now like Blink is this. They're like a
Resurgence,
legacy
right.
band.
Yeah.
Right.
And all now that like everyone's older, like they're selling out football stadiums.
Oh, yeah.
They just did SoFi, which is in LA.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 56,000 people went to go see
Right.
them. That's like Taylor Swift shit.
Yeah.
Right.
And now I've noticed like it's cool, at least in the circles that I run in. It's funny. It's cool to be a Blink-182 fan.
Yeah, definitely.
And like even like the cool punk
Yeah.
kids were like because the thing is like they just write catchy songs,
Yeah.
and
Right.
so like it's like to say like I get it. Their lyrics sometimes can be gross or like be like childish.
I don't even know
Remedial
if
or
it's the
something.
lyrics for me. It's the delivery, the vocal delivery.
No, the
kind of whiny, but not
the whiny guy.
I mean, I'm the asshole. Like
I
I'm
know.
wrong,
Right.
but I am also
No, but it's
100% right.
it's just not what you like.
But I like
will say,
everything.
I know what you're saying. It's like now they're getting the respect that they've worked so long to.
Yeah.
get.
yeah,
It's
well, I feel like
more
they've
people-
always had it.
Well, no, you'd be surprised
not with
in the
like
industry.
the cool
Right.
kid, not
Not-
with
right.
like. Do you know what I mean? But now like.
Well, do you think Travis Barker dating Kim
he's-
Kardashian or one of the
Oh.
Kardashians? Do you think that's what helped?
Not necessarily.
No, I just think like people were like, you know what? They've been around forever. They probably did something.
Yeah,
Right.
they paid their dues. They
Like-
must be something
Like
there.
I remember growing up, and they're the ones who got me into music. They're the reason I play guitar. I think they're also the reason I do comedy.
Wow.
Yeah,
Blink
'cause, like-
Oh, that's
182.
interesting.
I remember seeing them on MTV. There used to be a show called like MTV Diary.
Oh no. I
They were like follow an artist for like a week or whatever
Right.
that would like lead up to a big event, and they were like it was 99 2000, and that this was like they're blowing up. This is like
Right.
all the small things. That record was out, and I remember because in my mind I always had this image of like rock stars were like these cool dudes who like nothing fazed them, and like they were like super confident, and I saw them and they were like they dressed like me and my friends. They wore skate clothes.
Right.
They talked like me and my friends, and they were always like nervous and scared to play shows, and they like always like made fun of themselves, never took anything seriously. And I just remember thinking that was like so cool. And
Right.
so I think like, and I really got into them because of that. I just liked who they were. And
Yeah, they were a genuine trio of characters.
yeah, I would say like, especially of that, like the late 90s, early 2000s when like pop music was so big, they were like one of the few bands at the time that that were relatable and felt genuine.
Right,
Didn't
right.
feel like a music group, like it doesn't feel like a record label like put them together. But they did very poppy stuff too, whatever. But Yeah, I don't know where I was going.
Let
with
me
this.
ask you real quick with this Blink 182,
Yeah.
and do you know why they're named that?
There's no reason. So there was. This is crazy. I'm like, it's crazy how much I love this band and I know about them.
Right.
It's
Okay.
like insane.
So tell me what you're going to say.
Oh, they were called Blink. Is this? I don't know if anyone listening to this is gonna like this, but they were called Blink. And then there was like a techno band in Europe. Their name was Blink. They had it copyrighted, and they're like, "We're gonna sue you if you don't change it." And their Blink 182's record label at the time was like, "You need to have you changed your name? Have you found a name yet?" And they kept saying no. They kept putting it off. Then their label called them one day, and they're like, "If you don't change it now, we will change it for you." So they just added 182, and it's random. It doesn't mean anything.
Well, in the 90s, when I was in high school, or maybe after high school, whenever it was in the 90s,
Yeah.
late 90s.
It would have been after.
It was a radio interview with one of them.
Oh, they lied.
I
And
would
they
say-
made up a bunch of
well,
lies.
what
You
they
know
said-
this interview?
What
No,
they,
but I
Or you
know
just
all the
know the
lies.
what
story?
they said was
The number
that-
of times he said fucking Scarface or whatever.
No, there's two movies. There's a movie called Blink with your Madeline Stowe about a killer. And there's a movie called Turk 182 with James Spader, young James Spader. And on the interview, they said that was both two of the guys in the band, their favorite movies was Blink and Turk 182, which is a weird combo.
No, I think
And
that's a
so
lie.
they said
Yeah.
Blink 182.
Yeah, no, they said they would always make up each time they got asked that question. They would just make up
Interesting.
something.
Well, that's
Yeah.
right. Because as you're talking about it, I'm going, holy shit, they named the band
Yeah.
after movies.
Right.
Like, and it's, yeah.
But they didn't.
But
they
yeah,
did.
so I
But Umar crushed our dreams.
Yeah,
once again.
sorry.
Right.
But then I got into, from them I started listening to bands like No Effects and Bad Religion, and like I got into even bands like Fugazi and Descendants. And I like those are all bands I love to this day and listen to. Like if it wasn't for Blink, like I wouldn't know like the Misfits or like Black Flag, because I got into them because of Blink introduced me to this genre of music.
Yeah, their vibe was
yeah.
roots of all those different.
And the one like criticism I remember as a kid that they always got was like, oh, well, their songs are like anyone can play their songs. They're 3 chords. But then you learn more about music and you're like, you couldn't do this.
No, dude.
You couldn't write a song this catchy. You don't even know how to write a melody. You don't know like how to write a lead or rhythm like it's just insane. I mean, but that's what 12-year-olds, 15-year-olds, even like early 20-year-olds do. But you're like, if anyone could do it, they would be.
No, but that's
No,
the
and
thing.
correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, Travis Barker is like one of the best drummers.
He's coming
in
on
the
strong.
world, right?
Over the last 10 years, he's been rocking the drum community at large. He
Right.
plays on everybody's albums. He
But let me
sits
ask
in
you
and
this,
guest
because it's a
drums.
very controversial thing to say that, because a lot of people say he's a trash
No. So
drummer.
because I'm a drummer, this is what I'll tell you. Travis Barker is a nasty ass fucking drummer. He is
Yeah.
a rudiment player. All those stick tricks and shit. It's because he's a drum corps guy.
Does he
Yeah.
drop Pally Wally
Drum-
Winkle and a paradiddle? And
Yeah, he knows all of them, and he's got total
Yeah.
control of all of them. And any drum corps guy is a master. Any drum
Right.
corps guy can do what you were talking about earlier. Like, he can go with anything.
Yeah.
That motherfucker can play anything. Now, he prefers punk playing, which is heavy swinging,
Yeah.
heavy slamming playing. But make no mistake, that motherfucker has a touch. If he wants to, he can play whatever the fuck he
Yeah.
wants.
Well, I would
And
also-
everybody's just
and he does like rotating shit too. Like his kit, like doesn't it spin?
Yeah.
Does
he's
all
a,
that kind of
yeah.
shit.
Sure, he's a
Like,
showman, and he is a hard hitter. And a lot of great drummers have a different touch, and it's not about swing; it's about touch. And so when you get into that kind of showman, a lot of stuffy dickhead drummers will be like, "He sucks," but he doesn't.
Right.
He's
Yeah.
just a flashy drummer.
Flashy,
he can
yeah.
be big, but he's got the control of
Right.
a fucking master.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome.
maybe. Well, now that I like the revelation I had with this show is because we've interviewed like 6, 7 drummers.
Oh, wow.
So now, and they all have different stories about their style and their influences
Yeah.
and who they like and how they play. And now I'm going out and seeing live music
Yeah.
downtown and starting to pay attention to drummers, and I'm starting to listen to music in a different way.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
maybe
yeah.
I'll go
That's
check
good
out
shit.
Blink 182.
Yeah, dude, I
Although
didn't
my
even-
wife won't let me. She won't let me listen to Blink.
Oh, what is she
She'll come
into?
around.
She likes everything
She'll come
too,
around.
but Blink 182 is not one of them.
She'll
Yeah, I
come
mean,
around.
look, I get it. Like, how old are you?
48.
Yeah, so in '99 you were what?
I don't know.
I don't even know.
You were liquored up.
I was like 24, 25.
Yeah, and like I think if I was
but again,
it's
like
Star Wars
the '90s
effect.
Blink 182,
Right.
I did like. I think they were harder back then. And
well, they're harder now. So I think it's the Star Wars effect. Like most people would not like Star Wars if it was introduced to them as an adult. Most people, it is a nostalgia. Like you got into as a kid.
Yeah.
And
Go easy, son.
No, I'm saying.
I know you're a big
I get what
nerd.
you're saying.
No,
you know
I'm
what I
saying
mean?
I agree with them,
Okay.
but not if it was made with like modern technology with the same story. I think it would.
No, I'm saying
I hear what
those
you're saying.
original
Yeah.
movies.
Yes, I understand
Most
the
people
reference.
are into it because it was introduced them as
Sure,
they
yeah.
were kids.
As
Yes.
a younger person, right?
And I
Yeah.
think like if I got introduced to Blink as a band or as when I was like already an adult, I'd be like, oh, this is for kids.
Right.
That's
Right,
probably what I would.
it
And
felt
like,
a little
now, like,
candy-ish.
as an
or
adult,
something,
there
right.
are certain like songs I'm like, I'm not listening to like a bunch of 20-some-year-olds talk about high school.
Yeah,
And that's
full
still my
disclosure,
problem
I mean,
with-
how many albums do they have?
They have like
16,
9 or 10.
9, 10.
Yeah.
I haven't. I mean, I've listened to maybe 10 total Blink
I
182
do think they
songs.
got better. They had like their two very poppy albums, and then they were like, they kind of were like, okay, fuck that. We want to do more of like experimental, darker, heavier stuff. It's still heavy for them. It's still very like polished, like poppy punk music.
Right.
But I think that's what, and I get it. Like, yeah, I get it. I mean, like, but
So what do you make? What's your vibe with Mark? Is that his name? The singer, the alien
the alien guy? That's Tom.
Tom. What do you-
I think he's insane.
I mean, goddamn, like I want to like the guy, but Tom, the singer of Blink, or is he the singer?
yeah. He's a guitar
yeah.
player and singer.
He's like real alien, like. But I mean,
That's
Oh,
why
you
he
mean
quit-
like believes in aliens?
Oh no, he quit the band to start a company where they're going to expose like UFOs and aliens and
Right.
stuff.
yeah, like they stopped playing for like 10 years, and he went to
Oh,
the
that's what
government
he was doing?
and got like government grants to like, and like he
Did he come up with anything?
Yeah, sort of. He released. I mean, he went on Rogan and he
Right.
looked like an idiot
he
on
looked like
Rogan.
such a weirdo,
but he did ended up releasing a video that the government was like, "Yeah, these are UFOs. We don't know what they are."
And that did start-
and that was like that started the like yes.
I
we've
feel
known
like
about
in
this-
general, like I mean, the government has released shit. This is what you guys are talking about right now.
Yeah.
But I feel like nobody still gives a shit.
Well, because it's not aliens. It's just the government saying like
They
there's
don't know what it
there's
is.
so many things in the sky. It's probably China, probably Russia,
Right.
but they're not saying,
Anything
But if
on-
they popped up and they're like, "Hey, all right, yeah, here's an alien we found,"
Right.
and then we would all lose. But here's the thing: like now that we've had the internet and you've had like QAnon and January 6th and all this crazy shit, like I kind of get why the government keeps people in the dark.
absolutely right.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Oh, it's panic. Mass. Yeah, right.
I used to think it was like control and power. Now it's like most people are just too dumb to to really what's it called? Like most people are not critical thinkers.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
they do not know how to absorb information in any way that's productive.
Well, like they say, Tommy Lee Jones says in Men in Black. He said, or Men in Black. He's like, a person is smart. People are dumb.
Yep,
yes.
yep, absolutely.
Yeah. And that is the
They
thing.
can't
like,
handle it.
yeah, like Mark Norman has this. He's a comedian. He's super
I
funny.
love
and
Mark Norman.
so I open for him a lot.
Holy shit!
that's
yeah.
awesome.
Dude, that's so fucking.
Yeah, he's
awesome.
cool. He's cool as shit.
I love his delivery.
yeah.
Like, there's something about the way he talks.
He's
it
of a
just
joke.
makes me
He's like,
smile.
yeah, like as long as you're not specific with your hate, you can get away with it.
Yeah.
If you're like,
That's
man, Jews,
Right.
but like that would people like, whoa. But if you're like, man, people suck, and everyone's like, yes, you know, and I think that's like
Right.
very true of
That
like,
is true. That's
Yeah.
a good.
But I
take.
think it is funny, like because like we have the knowledge. We have so much knowledge and information at the tip of our fingers in lightning speed, and you would think we'd be smarter off
No.
for it, but instead it's like what turned it like you would think like we'd have more like chemists and physicists and like doctors, but now we just have people who are like, hey, I think there's like I've been doing my own research,
right?
And I think there's like a pizza place where Nancy Pelosi is like fucking children.
Right.
Like that's what happens.
Right. And again, though, that's because that algorithm wants ugly. It wants ugly.
Dumb people can really connect dots that aren't there.
No, I love the people that the comments, like the social comments. Do your research,
right?
Yeah.
You're like, bitch,
like,
where did you fucking
trust me?
research?
I don't have it, but my wife has. You've done research to get your master's degree,
and that's
like,
a funny
actual
thing. Is like,
research.
No, PhD research, but I've done I've done research like things, and that's the funny thing when you study statistics and you actually know what the word research actually means.
Sure, right. What it looks like
it's not
in real
a fucking
time.
Google search.
No.
It's not a Google search and then reading something some fucking idiot
Right.
wrote.
Or watching a documentary made by somebody who has an agenda. They only want to talk about their
it's my
side.
favorite when some asshole's like, do your research.
They go, I saw this documentary. I'm like, are you talking about Scott from Wisconsin out of his basement?
I'm like,
that just did a
guy who
well-produced
couldn't
video?
pass high school. Like,
like,
shut
what the fuck are you
fuck
talking
up.
about? I saw that.
It's a very crazy time.
And once you find out you can edit a Wikipedia page.
Yeah.
I know, man.
And it's crazy.
Like I can. Anything.
But so many people, like my dad gets tricked. But my dad, because like also like older people grew up in this time where if someone on a video is saying something, they just for some reason trust it. If something's written in print, they trust it because like most of the time they were reading things like newspapers, New York Times, Washington Post, Time Magazine, and like those are institutions that establish trust over a long period of time. And sure, they were probably lying a lot or getting things wrong and were getting things wrong a lot, but for the most part there's some sort of like integrity.
But
and
yeah,
checks.
you weren't being overwhelmed with the lies. So it was like you read the newspaper. If it's true, it's you just assume it's true. It's in the newspaper. But now there's 85 different versions.
But now
of that
some guy
same
just
thing.
makes a video and it pops across my dad's feed and he's like, yes.
He's like, damn.
He's like, you can. My dad like you can cure cancer by drinking lemon water, and you're like, holy shit.
Or at the news when I drink Celsius a lot. Now I'm fine. Now they're telling me that it has like 4 times the amount of cyanide in it.
Oh, dude,
but it's not true.
Yeah,
it's fear mongering on the
that's
net.
also crazy. It's like packaging, like shit like that. Will like. So like we'll find out things later. Like oh well, yeah, this is like not great for you. I drink a lot of like seltzer, like not like hard seltzer, but just like bubbly seltzer
yeah, me
water.
too. Us too.
Like the Waterloos or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna stop drinking the flavored ones because I guarantee you, in like 10 years, we're gonna find out they're giving us cancer.
Right. So we have recently, my wife did this. Our kids love Doritos all their life, and we stopped giving them shit with red dye in it.
Yeah.
And dude, I'm telling you, their minds are different. Their actual like cognitive functions are different.
Right.
Yeah. And well, it also could just be like they're eating less processed.
Well, no, because they still eat some junk, but like Doritos, that's one of the spics that has red dye 40 in it, and we've cut it out. Like Garrett would live, like he lived for Cool Ranch Doritos. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So
and dude, like
they do
just,
rock.
Yeah, they do.
You can't deny Cool Ranch.
The best Dorito right now is the fiery mango. Dorito.
Really, I tried real hard not to. I mean, I was a fat kid growing up, so I have like body image.
I weighed 340
he was
That's
he was
crazy.
Twice.
Damn, dude, you look great.
Thank you, sir.
Damn.
Yeah.
The first time I lost the weight, it was cocaine. The second time I lost the weight, it was discipline.
I've never done cocaine. Is it worth it? Should I try it?
No.
Should I try it?
No, not now because it can kill you.
Fentanyl. But like if I
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, I've been on the wagon for quite some time.
Yeah.
So I wasn't in the game.
You don't drink.
I
smoke weed though.
I do. And well, let's Wait,
is that not public?
No. We're
fine.
public.
No,
it's all public.
It's legal.
Half of our episodes are talking about us doing psychedelics
and
weed.
I've only done shrooms. I've done shrooms twice.
Mm-hmm.
First time was I like it. I don't want no. Here's my thing with shrooms. The first time I did it was with 2 friends, and it was the bummer was it was like ice outside. It was like cold as shit, so we had to be in my house.
Sure.
We took.
Were your parents around?
No. This was 2-3 years ago.
Okay.
I grew up straight edge.
Right. So far, the setting seems acceptable.
Right,
yeah.
For the.
Well, yeah. So I didn't start smoking weed until I was 28.
Wow,
I didn't drink until after college.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Goddamn.
Which I think is good.
It is good.
I do think that would be my message to kids. Do drugs, but just not yet.
Just wait till
do it until you
wait till you're an adult.
Wait until you have a career, you own a home, and that you've lined up, and then once you realize life is meaningless and you're gonna die, that's when you need drugs.
Sure, then you know introduce
what I mean?
them slowly.
But also, like, drugs are like weed, like also not like cocaine, but like weed and shrooms and drinking, like. It rocks.
Yeah.
Right.
But
and it's for the most, I mean, it's pretty much legal at this point.
Yeah,
Even shrooms are getting legalized.
If you're
every now
like
and then.
17 and you don't have the brain functioning and capacity to know, like, maybe I shouldn't get behind a car while I'm super fucked up.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The
Like,
little details.
yeah, or like smoking weed every day and like now you're like lazy, you're skipping school, like that shit is to me dumb.
But now they have weed that's just motivated. You just go in and tell them what you
I don't
want.
believe.
Yeah.
I don't, dude. People say that shit to me because I'm like, they're like, this weed will make you. All weed makes me sleepy.
Right.
I've
no,
tried,
that's not true, man. Like, because I have anxiety, and I go in, I'm like, look, I have anxiety, but I also have a low heart rate, so I need something that like won't stress me out, but will give me energy.
But you're not talking to an expert. You're just talking to a fucking pothead
Who's high
works
as
at
shit.
a dispensary. Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, people who think like people behind they talk like they're doctors. I'm like, dude, shut the fuck up. Don't tell me about anxiety and depression or anything.
I get the same stuff every time now, and it works. It works for me, and yes, it does motivate me. But because if it doesn't, then I get something else.
Yeah, I'm not like, just because a guy's wearing like a.
But there's also strains like indica is like the couch potato
that's what
shit.
They say,
That's
but I've had indicas, I've had sativas, I've had hybrids, I've had the ones that make you try to feel up or make you feel less anxious.
And it doesn't work with you.
You
get treated the same.
I get the same feeling.
Umar, if my
so
wife,
I just buy the shitty. I'm like, give me shake, give me shitty weed.
if my
it's
wife
all the
was
same.
here, she would tell you I'm the exact same way. My kids are like, this one will do this, and I'm like, it's fine, like whatever.
Yeah.
You know, when I say my kids,
No,
they're 24.
certain things affect me differently.
But it is funny. I'll go into a weed shop and I'm like, well, you must, or you're a black guy, you got dreads, you got a cool hat on. I trust you. You know what I mean? You know.
But then he's like, spin this wheel to see what you get a discount.
But there is also this thing with like weed shops where the first time I went to a weed shop, like recreational, it's in my neighborhood. I won't say the name, but I was like, so it's like it looks gross in there. It's like shitty carpet. It's dark. It's like black light.
Oh man, mine's nice,
dude. And there was literally, I swear to God, there was a conversation. The weed dispensary person and the guy buying weed, they were having a conversation about the customer's mixtape. Mm-hmm. and they were like, oh yeah, and then the guy behind the counter was like, yeah, I make music too. We should link up. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck? I'm like, I would rather just go to a drug dealer. Drug dealer used to come to my house.
Right.
And now I drove here and I have to listen to this shit conversation and they're literally holding up the line.
I do online order, walk in, pick it up, walk out.
And then, dude, they asked me for a tip. And I'm like,
God.
what?
Man, you got to change dispensaries.
Fuck! I go to
maybe mine is professional.
I go
mine
to another one
professional.
by my neighborhood. It's much nicer. I don't know the name, but it's nice. Yeah.
So wait, finish the shroom story. Like,
yeah. So the first time I did shrooms, and look, I don't want to do drugs to like feel deeper or learn something.
Right.
I just want to like have fun.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
So we did shrooms with my buddy who he does shrooms a lot. Or he's just more than I have. He likes doing drugs, and I've been scared of drugs, and allegedly, I forgot shrooms aren't legal. Allegedly, I did shrooms,
right.
And who cares? I did shrooms,
They're
and
legal in DC.
Oh, they are.
They're legal medically in DC.
Oh, I did them.
You can buy.
I did them in DC, and I don't remember how much we took, but I remember I'm not comfortable with the visuals.
Right.
Really fucks me. And so we're sitting in my house, and like the carpet, like the lines, I just see like them, like they're vibrating or moving.
Right.
And my wife, she did drugs as when she was younger, and now she doesn't anymore. And so she was like, "Oh, I'll play this music. This is like, I know the music," and it was just like, it was not vibing with me.
Right.
It was just like these like some like heavy drum type, like, and I was like, it just felt like, I don't know. And then my buddy smoking weed in the corner, and I just remember like, I was like, I just feel like I'm in a drug den right now. And then my buddy was like, well, we are doing drugs, and we are in your den right now.
Right, you are. Right.
And I just remember feeling like I still have this like, and I guess this is what I did learn from that. Like I do have like from my childhood, my parents, like this hang up about drugs. And
Right.
it's like from a judgmental position.
Absolutely.
And that's what I learned from that. But then once I got over the hump,
Right.
like over the freak out, like I remember I tried to sleep it off, and my wife was like, she was like, you were absolutely not sleeping with your friends on shrooms, and I'm the only sober person in this house.
Right. Yeah.
So I got up, and after 15 minutes, I got over the hump, and it just felt great.
Yeah.
We went for a car ride. That was getting out of the house for me is the best. And then we picked up food. Now we're just laughing and eating, and it was awesome. And the next day,
good.
I felt euphoric. Then I did it pretty recently after I opened up for Mark at a couple months ago in
Dude, that's so fucking
he's a big shrooms guy.
I know.
And
I know that.
so when we went to a steakhouse, and then like somebody from the show was sitting at a table near us, and when they got up and left, they threw mushroom chocolates at us, and he let me have them. And so maybe like it was like sometime in like, I don't know, fall or late winter. It wasn't super cold, but I finished a run, finished making dinner, and like I pretty much smoke weed every night just to chill. And I didn't have any weed, and I was like, oh, I got these mushroom chocolates. I'll just use those and chill out. And it says like 1 to 3 will give you like a light high. So I took 3 like an idiot.
Yeah,
and
man.
also, dude, I had no food in my stomach.
That's the problem.
I hadn't eaten
Or
since 11 o'clock that day.
good
It was
time.
probably 7:30 at night. 0 food in my stomach. Put 3 in. I started feeling it right away. Like,
Right.
I mean, like 20 minutes, I'm feeling tingling.
Right.
I'm seeing, so dude, and I didn't want to tell Karen because we're watching TV, and like, I know she would be pissed.
Sure.
And I'm just like, oh man, I just keep rubbing my head, and I'm trying to act cool, and I was like, and I just remember saying like, I think I feel it. She's like, no, there's no way you're already. I'm like, I'm feeling it, and she's like, just relax. And she's like, I know you shouldn't, and like you don't, and I had to be like, babe, I know what you're thinking, and like, yes, you're right, I shouldn't have taken them, but like, you gotta be chill right now.
Right. Please don't
and she's
do
like,
this.
all right, well, let's just watch TV, get your mind off. So then we're watching this show, and this old like lady, she's supposed to be like a mean old lady, her face just keeps turning into a fucking goblin. And I was like, fuck. And I was like, she's like, well, what do you want to do? And I'm like, I don't know. She's like, do you want to go for a walk? She's like, why don't you go for a walk? And I'm like, okay. So I'm like putting my shoes on, and I was like, do you want to come with me? And dude, we go to bed at like 9 o'clock. It's 8 something.
Right.
She was like, fine. And dude, we went for a walk, and I gotta be honest, like, great.
It was
Yeah.
good.
Being on shrooms, walking outside, cold wind hitting your face was great. It was
Right,
awesome.
right.
And it was like the first time, because like I wasn't like, I talk a lot.
Sure.
And my wife is very shy. Not shy with me, but like she like, it was the first time, like the one thing, like, and that's the thing, like I don't take drugs to like, or shrooms, but like I learned, I was like, oh, I should listen to my wife more. I had so much fun just walking and listening to my wife talk. And it was
Right.
like, oh, I need to do this more. I'm a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
So that was like a positive that came out of it.
You strike me
Yeah.
as a cat that's cerebral enough that it's hard for you to totally let
Yeah,
go
for
and that
sure.
kind of thing. And
Yes.
and so it doesn't surprise me that, because it is heavy shit. It's a
Yeah.
serious heavy drug, and
Yeah.
it needs to be treated as such.
Oh,
And
Yeah,
so-
and settings always
yeah,
important.
setting's very important.
Yeah.
I
Where
gotta
do
go-
you guys recommend?
I got, always in a place.
Setting. I'm just talking about. I mean, I've done it where it's been with not random people, but just
That's
like,
got to suck.
This
and
is
it's
the
like
thing
when
is that-
you like I've taken shrooms after I've already been drunk, which doesn't work
bad,
really.
right?
Yeah, it's.
We grew up doing a lot of psychedelics in very not cool places before the books and stuff about set and setting were even talked about.
And by setting, I just mean like you understand what you're about to do, and you're not going to go do something stupid, or you're not like just out somewhere. You're like in your home or in a friend's home, or like on the beach, or just somewhere where you're going to be.
You have to be. I never, you want to be away from authority. Because that's the thing, is it can throw you off. Like just somebody, and it's not even someone
people
relevant.
Who understand what's going on.
Correct.
You can't be around people that are going to stress you out.
Sober enough that you trust, and that helps a lot. But even that can get weird because they might look weird to you.
Yeah,
you're like,
dude, I kept calling my friend an evil hippie,
right?
And he was because he the one who brought the shrooms and. Because just the way he was sitting, and like also he was a new friend, so I didn't know him super well. And I just kept calling, I was like, "Dude, you're evil," and I was blaming him for like the way I was like feeling.
Well, look,
I remember watching Parks and Rec one time, and I felt like because like
While
the
on
Office,
shrooms?
and like it's like the Office and Parks. It's like I felt like I was the cameraman.
Well,
look, because I felt like they were like legit talking to me, and I was the one holding the camera. Like okay, that's funny. Keep going. Like,
well,
to
your
funny.
story about your wife and just her having to be okay with it in the moment, I had a similar situation not that long ago. I mean, it was a few years back, but I dabbling with real mushrooms is dangerous because you don't know where the pockets of psilocybin are.
Yeah.
It's like if it's in a pill form, it can be regulated, but when you're talking about nature, it's not. So it was around the first season of Mandalorian.
Mm-hmm.
It was, and so whatever that was, and I had some mushrooms and I ate 2 stems. I'm like, I'm just going to get a little electric going, a little microdose, 2 stems.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sitting there watching The Mandalorian, and all of a sudden, man, it's like, and I'm on the couch and I'm with my wife, and I'm like, oh, and she didn't know, and I lean over and I'm like, oh, and she's like, why do you keep making those noises? I said, man, I think I'm going to be in for a long night. And she's like, why? I said, I ate 2 shrooms, but like it was like 10 minutes ago. And like I'm seeing like trailers with the fucking lightsabers.
That's the other thing. It's mushrooms are a commitment.
They are.
It's a long
Well, let me tell you
time.
something. Acid is a more.
I don't think I'll ever do
Okay,
acid.
well, acid
there's
is
probably no reason to
a 10 to 12 hour commitment.
Fuck that.
That's
it
what
could
I mean.
be 18.
Yeah.
Fuck
Yeah.
that, dude.
I had an 18-hour experience.
We had
before.
a buddy in
ended up
Ocean
harboring
City.
a fugitive.
What?
It's a long, wild story.
He ran from the cops?
It was
No. We
like
weren't involved. We were just in the apartment that was being raided.
And
I had to pretend I was asleep.
And the guy was there.
He was under the clothes at my feet.
Wait, the guy they were looking for?
He dove into a pile of clothes, and the cops came in looking for him.
Yeah,
how did he get into your apartment?
We were in his apartment.
Right, he was Jason. We know he died.
Oh my god!
We wandered.
We
walked.
What do they want him for?
Oh, just breaking I think he broke a gas pump.
Yeah, he was
manhandled it.
Where is this? Ocean City?
Yeah, this was back in like '93.
And they'll
92.
run into your home for that?
It was a condo.
It was
the Atlantis.
Yeah, it was senior week, right? Was it
after senior week?
Right, it was around that.
Were you guys in high school?
Yeah, just after.
Yeah,
just out.
I was still. He was just after.
Damn,
I mean, there was all kinds.
But that acid that night, Reno.
That was intense.
Well, whoever it was, somebody ate that same acid, and he was gone. We saw him 24 hours later, and he was like, "Dude, I'm still going. I can't. It won't ever stop."
Your guys' generation, because like my wife is 44. How old are you?
I'm 47.
Yeah.
48.
48.
Yeah, and like like you guys did tons of drugs.
Yeah,
but it was nothing. But when we were in high school, it was nothing real hard though. Like Westminster kind of went into the Wild West. We went to Westminster High.
Yeah,
we got into the Wild West with like heroin got real bad up there. I mean, we have friends whose like younger siblings like OD'd and terrible tragedies, but our we never got into that kind of shit.
More coke and even
whiskey, beer. We partied, field parties, and just had fun. But Connie Chung did a report on Westminster and called it Heroin High. The title of that, but that was 2 years after you graduated.
Right. I just remember
it became a mess.
The pill phenomenon. It wasn't as huge as it was. The pill phenomenon happened post high school.
No, when we were there, it wasn't even mushrooms really. It was wheat. It was acid, weed.
That's correct. I was such a good kid in pretty much my whole childhood that I didn't go. Dude, I never was in high school. I was never at a party where there was drinking. I was never at a party where there was weed smoking.
Nerd.
Wow. Is that crazy? Yeah, I was
awesome,
a fucking. Is
let me
that
ask
crazy?
you this: how do you? This is a little off the subject, but I want to. Before we wrap up, I want to make sure
I
ask
know what's
you this.
going on with my eye. It's just fucking stinging.
Yeah, I'm sorry, buddy.
No, it's all good. That happens sometimes.
But when you do these, do you ever get approached by angry fuckers afterwards
at shows?
Are physically angry at you?
Oh man, no. I don't think that's ever.
I don't think you deserve
pissed somebody off that bad.
Oh, there's probably been a couple times, and
or a heckler that you shut down legendarily that eventually was
no. I mean, there's definitely in my early years, people have come up to me and because and I deserved it. I didn't know what I was doing. Mm-hmm. I wasn't trying to come from a bad place, but I get it. You don't know me, and I have no finesse, and you're just saying shitty things. I remember a couple of times people coming "Oh, you're a piece of shit," or I've gotten even now I'll get messages from people, but no one's tried to fight me. Thank God.
Good. That makes me.
That would.
Because I don't know. I'm not a comedian, so I don't know.
Just...
It's I'm playing a band, and we're in bars all the time, and it's fucking wild. People come up to you all the time, and if you're making fun of them all night, or if you shut them down or make them embarrassed in front of their loved one, I feel like these cats sometimes get approached by a drunk asshole.
Well, and that's the thing. I don't when I do crowd work, if you go watch, it's not super mean.
Yeah, right.
And it's for most of the time, I'm just trying to get a conversation going. I do think comedy does have this stigma of comedians want our purpose is to be mean to the crowd.
Right.
And that's not true. I mean, obviously we're gonna.
Yeah, I think to me it's more make fun of.
Yeah,
right, comedy is comedy.
Right.
I mean,
and I'm. I never and then so if I can sense that there's someone who doesn't want to be talked to, I'll just be oh, sorry, I'll move on.
Right.
So
that's good.
Hopefully, so I haven't had to, but I've had, I know people who've been approached like that or who've been got into fights and stuff, but thankfully none of that has happened to me. But that's the thing, anyone could. Because on stage you have all this confidence and bravado, and I will say crazy shit on stage.
Right.
And one time I was in this place called Tally-Ho Theater. It's in Leesburg, in this downtown Leesburg. It's beautiful, but it's Leesburg. It's
that's a nice theater.
It's pretty cool.
Play there a lot.
So I've done that a bunch, and it leans conservative, which I don't give a shit. I'll perform to anyone, and conservatives kind of are better audiences. And I just remember I have this joke where the setup of the joke is just letting the crowd oh yeah, and me and my wife are liberals, and then a punchline's coming. Some dude booed, and I don't even I was just God, you're such a pussy that me saying I'm a liberal evokes a response. And I was you're what's wrong with America, and I just went off on him. And then dude, after the show, that guy came up to me. Ooh. and I was uh-oh, here we go. And he was hey man, you know what, I wanted to apologize because you're right, that is what's wrong with this country. I don't even know why I booed. It was just a knee-jerk reaction. I thought it'd be funny. I was oh, dude, I'm just a sensitive douche. I'm sorry. So it was a fun moment
that
we had.
That
it was
that's good shit.
Yeah, I rolled with it. We're good.
Yeah, I love
that. But
that.
yeah,
that's
so
awesome.
And then there will probably be times where my friend Joe, Joe List,
Joe List, yeah,
So
this guy, this fucking guy, holy shit! Yeah,
Joe List is like, cause
I told you, you're fucking big. You're such a humble.
Not true.
Dickhead.
Joe List is like I think he's the most underrated comedian in the country. Him and this guy Dan Soder.
Dan Soder.
But Joe List always says, because Joe List is like, he's like, I try to tell comedians all the time, like, if you want to like say something crazy, go ahead, but there is literally nothing stopping people from coming up on, like, he's like, I don't know why comedians act like there's just this barrier people can't cross.
Right.
It's like, if you can't fight, then a lot of comics should not be saying.
Well, that's why I'm asking.
There's no security There's no security wall.
Yeah,
never. No, and they leave in the parking lot.
I've been on shows multiple times where people have walked on stage, not in an angry way, but just walked on stage, and you're just like, holy shit, and you get scared because you just see someone, you have no idea what they're going to do.
Especially after the Will Smith thing.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, they could be, right. You have no idea. They could be just hammered, wandering up. You don't know what the hell they're doing.
I know. And dude, also, there are no, outside of Rogan's Club, I went to Rogan's Club. I was just in Austin.
Oh, God.
They put your phone in a bag and they wand and like pat everyone down, which... you're like, oh, this sucks, but then you're kind of like, nah. Well, one, it's in Texas. Two, it's Rogan. Like, so many people hate that guy, so I get it. But you're like, you know what? All clubs should do this.
Yeah, right. Why wouldn't?
Because like we're just in a basement, and I think about this all the time. I'm like, oh, I'm in a packed basement with very like cramped. It's charged, and it's like. The exits are very difficult to get to. If somebody had a gun, this would be a big problem. Yeah.
So to be clear,
I think about that all the time.
Did you visit there to see a show, or did you play
no. I was doing a smaller club, and then my buddy, I know this guy Kurt Metzger.
Brian knows every name.
I'm not trying to name drop.
Kurt Metzger is my man. He's a wild man.
So
dude.
he was headlining the main room at Rogan's Club, so I went to go hang out. Yeah, it was cool.
Unbelievable, dude.
Yeah.
That's so fun.
No, this is a cool thing about being unsuccessful with successful friends.
Well, no, but look,
nice.
This is what I'm saying. You don't need to do shit, but Baltimore is coming. And you are leading the charge.
I don't know if that's
Schlegel
true.
is hilarious.
Yeah, he's great.
I mean, he's developed like over the years. Now, keep in mind, I don't know him from John. I just listen to 98 Rock.
But being funny is like the least important thing.
Well, let me tell you something. Nowadays, I disagree with you.
Yeah.
I think that nowadays, if you can be funny and not candy ass positive, but see the whole chess match.
Yeah.
The funny can fix a lot.
Well, wait a
of
minute.
shit.
So, in your opinion,
I
you
really
say
believe that.
what is the most important thing to you then?
Well, I think you have to really learn how to do the internet. I think the internet is everything. And I'm not great. Like, I posted a couple videos. I was like, oh, these are funny moments. Got like nothing.
No,
and then some of my videos will get millions of views. And I don't even think they would. So, like, I don't know. I haven't figured out what is going to garner but I don't want to. I don't want to be chasing an algorithm, but it is necessary evil.
Right.
And I've seen people do it.
No, it is.
And I've seen people do it who I don't respect what they do on stage. I don't respect what they do online, but I respect the fact that they're selling out theaters.
Yeah.
And I'm not.
So do you?
And they're millionaires.
Do you self-manage? Do you book your own gigs and everything?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm a nobody.
Well,
I got
your
no
shit
management.
Is well produced. I mean,
thanks.
it looks like $1 million. Every special looks great. Sounds great.
Yeah,
and that's something.
Yeah, I got lucky like that. I know people who do good work and do it for a fair price, or like for me, I'm sure I'm underpaying the shit out of that.
Right.
Like my buddy actually did my Magoobies one for free.
Wow,
which is so nice. And
it is nice.
Yeah, which is like insane.
That's
because
awesome.
people would ask for like $10,000 for that shit.
Yeah, right. And it's a well done. It's a well shot special.
Thank
it looks
you. Yeah,
fucking
he
great.
killed
It sounds great.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just think like, well, one dude, like I think having a backup like school psychology was like, all right, I'm gonna do this, then I'm gonna move to New York. And like I think the one thing like I would tell young comics now is I do not think you can have a backup dream. Or sorry, you can't have a backup to your dream.
Right.
I think it has to be an all or nothing thing.
Right.
You have to set yourself
or
up.
it just becomes a hobby.
Right, and I think that's like the I'm half in, half out.
Right.
Like where like I have a day job,
Right.
but I still do this thing where it feels like I have 2 full-time jobs, but it does hold you back. And now I'm married, I own a home. Like I'm not leaving Baltimore.
Right,
I love
right.
it here. I hate New York. I think New York. I don't understand why adults live in little boxes, and I like driving a car. I like public transportation.
Sure.
At least like to use it every day. Like would drive me
to
crazy.
not have a car. Just
So I think
don't
like
have
there's
a car.
moves I didn't like. All right, I'll tell you. This is why I think I will not be a successful comedian. Because I remember when Stavros and I, who's like so huge now, he's one of the biggest comics in the country. When we were first starting, I remember we were doing a show at our college at UMBC, and Stavros, we were talking, and he was like, "Man, my only goal is like I just want to do comedy. I want to make like $40,000-$50,000 a year." And I remember hearing that, and I'm like, "What the fuck?" And that's the difference.
Right.
He wanted it that bad, and like I didn't like.
You wouldn't have done it for 40 or 50,000.
To me, that's crazy.
Right.
But to him, he's like, "This is everything," and like and like I do care about comedy and I love it, but one thing like I wish someone would have told me when I was like, I remember listening to this other comedian on a podcast, this guy Andy Haynes, he's from around here, he's super funny, but you know his career like it was going somewhere, but it ended up going nowhere, and now he's kind of crawling his way back, and he said that you know people who are getting into comedy should understand that it is most comedians are poor.
Right.
Most comedians are starving artists.
Yeah.
And like, I think if I would have been told that starting, I don't know, because of just like all the shit my parents, the mentality they have, I don't know if it's something I would have pursued.
If you would have jumped in, right.
Yeah.
Right.
And like, and now I'll name drop again. I opened for Tim Dillon a lot. and, or I have. And he's
Tim Dillon.
He's like a very fun person to be around in the sense that like he just will tell you like things that other people aren't willing to tell you because it'll make them look like assholes. Like Tim, I remember like we were having lunch, and this is before he was like, he's huge now. This is before he was huge. And he was like doing well. He was just got Netflix. He just was about to release a Comedy Central special. And he was like, okay, because I was like, I'm thinking about moving to New York. Tim's like, you're not moving to New York. And I was like, I don't know. He's like, dude, okay. He's like, also you shouldn't. He's like, what do you think? He's like, nothing's going to happen for you. And he was like, okay, let me ask you. He's like, this question will help me determine like if moving to New York is like, if it's like a good choice. He's like, let's say you had all the money, no option. You had all the money in the world to do like a project you want to do. What would you do? And I said, I just want to do stand up. And he's like, don't move. He's like, nobody gives a shit about stand up. He's like, because like your thing is agents and managers, they want people who are going to make them money. He's like, I'm here doing Magoobies for $1,500 this week. My agent's making $150. Do you think he gives a shit about me right now?
Right,
he doesn't. And so that was like just such a lesson in the business side of show business.
It's the practical truth.
Yeah.
You know?
And then another thing he said that stuck with me that's profound is this goes for show business in general, but you know, comedy, it's like he said in comedy, failure is the rule, success is the exception. So think about that.
Nice.
Like most bands, most comedians, most actors, actresses who go for it, most will ultimately not make any sort of money in it. Which I'm not saying that's success, but like you got to be practical.
Sure, right.
And so like hearing these things, like my mindset of like what I wanted to do with comedy really changed. And like I love comedy.
Right.
And it is like I eat, live, and breathe. It's all in my mind.
You don't watch movies for
all.
fuck's sake.
Yeah, I know. It's like, but like any leftover energy I have is like after work and doing like, you know, husband things and whatever life things. It's like comedy. But like this idea of like, it's such a rat race and like sacrificing your whole life to like, the odds are you're going to be poor.
Right.
Is crazy to me. And
But
that's holding me back.
I think that you're doing it the right way.
But it is fear. And I think you can't go into any pursuit in show business or whatever, like with that. You have to be delusional.
Yeah.
You need that, like, I'm going to fucking make it mentality.
We're delusional.
And I never had that.
Yeah.
I never was like, I'm the best. I'm great.
Well, again, it goes back to your upbringing. You're too practical. You did have good parents that, despite whatever, peccadillos they had, instilled a bit of discipline in you.
I agree. I do the same thing just with sculpting and art.
Yeah.
And my wife has to tell me, like, she's like, nobody can, like, people can't do what you can do. I'm like,
most people in the world cannot do that.
And I don't,
those masks.
I take it for granted sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing.
But it's hard because I would see, dude, like there's so many killers that I came up, they were like ahead of me, like this guy Jason Weems.
I don't know him.
He is like so funny. I think he's I don't want to speak for him, but like I think he's pretty much done doing stand up. He'll maybe go out once in a while, but dude, he is to this day one of the funniest people I've ever seen in my life. And I watched him not make it. I mean, for the same reasons, like he had kids and whatever, but you're just like, so I would have this mentality of like, fuck, if that guy can't, it's the wrong way to think. But I remember being like, if that guy can't do it, then who the fuck am I? But it's such a toxic way.
Well,
to
Umar,
think.
in my opinion, you're right on the cusp of greatness.
Well, we'll see.
And I'm serious. Like, I hope you don't throw in the towel just yet.
Yeah,
because
your stuff's great.
It's
like,
thanks, man.
It really is.
It seems like the right time.
Yeah.
Baltimore seems like the right place to have something different happen.
Yeah. No, I'm not throwing in the towel. Like, this is the first summer I'm doing my own headline run. That's all, like, and I mean, outside of Maryland, like like you said, like I went to Denver, and Denver was the second time that was my second time doing that club. But like I've done Denver and Austin and Raleigh, and we're gonna do St. Louis and fucking Indianapolis, and then wherever else, so like I've done like other headlining gigs like outside of the state, and so it's like it's nice, and I feel like each year I get cooler things, bigger things. But who knows where it goes?
Right.
I'm not throwing in the towel.
You're keeping
I'm just
grounded.
Yeah.
Well, with that being said, how do people find out where you are going to be?
Follow me on Instagram. It's Umar Khan 821 UMAR KHAN 821. I post all my dates there. I have like a link in my bio that has all my dates.
Nice.
So
we'll have all that posted.
Yeah,
too,
thanks.
but
I'm trying to think, is there anything local? I don't have any local shows that I can think of coming up. But I do a crowd work show every first Thursday at the Port Comedy Club.
The Port Comedy
in
Club?
Fells
Right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because they,
So come through.
Yeah, I would love to come through.
Yeah, guys,
man.
come. Let me know.
the first Thursday of every month.
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to do it in August, but like once the fall kicks back in, we'll do it.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Okay, because
Well,
we're always downtown for in Canton WTMD's first Thursday festival.
So I think that's another reason. It's just like
me and my
take a
wife
little
go there,
break.
but we would. I mean, well, depending on because that's usually over by 10.
Oh
so
no,
I
my
would
show
over.
will be also over by 10.
Oh, okay.
You said I'm in bed by
no,
7.
but if it starts in the fall, the last first Thursday is September. So
Yes, exactly. So I won't be battling with that anymore. So yeah, come by.
Well,
Yeah,
Davis, you got
definitely.
anything else?
No, just the how to find you and just like
Yeah,
I guess you kind of talked about what you have exciting coming
Yeah.
out, like is just some headlining tours this summer.
Yeah, I got 3 specials on YouTube. Please watch them.
Yep.
They're incredible.
What
Thank you.
do they
They're so
name
fun.
them?
The first one's called Umar Khan live in Baltimore.
Yep.
The second one's called Who Cares, and the third one's a crowd work special.
Yeah, which is fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely fucking
Oh,
fantastic.
hell yeah. I filmed that over 4 shows at the Port Comedy Club, and we put together it's like 45 minutes of like what we think is the best.
And what's that one called?
Oh, let's talk about it. And that's what my monthly.
It's my favorite.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's great.
I love the
It's
crowd
fun.
work stuff. It's
Thanks,
so cool.
man.
But like that's why I was asking. Like it's got to be difficult when the crowd doesn't work with you.
yeah, it is tough. That happened to me in Austin. The Friday show was so fun. That was probably one of my most fun times headlining.
Yeah.
And there was just like a hot crowd. couple people came to see me, which was awesome. And then the Saturday show, they were good. They were just a little more tense. Right. And when I tried to like engage, like it was like you were saying, like 1-word answers, or like this one couple talked way too much, and it was a bummer. But that's a live baby. That's what happens. But you got to see live comedy. Go see a show live.
Yes.
It's the best way to see comedy.
Yeah. I agree. And Magoobies and the Baltimore.
Timonium. Yeah, Magoobies is a great club.
Is the Baltimore Comedy Store still around?
The Baltimore Comedy Factory. I don't perform there. It's a comedy still weirdly segregated.
I mean, it's still there. I mean, Chappelle's played there recently. It's still around, I guess. But the Port is a good spot.
The Port Comedy Club is awesome. Yeah. I would definitely go there. It's a small room, intimate. It holds like 100 people. They've gotten I opened up for Dan Soder there. Nice. They're getting huge people.
Yeah. So the dudes that own that, I don't remember
Matt
the name.
Hurley.
Yeah. So they did the two acts at
show.
And then they were like, we got to go to the Port because we have some woman coming in who sold out 5 nights in a row or something.
I met those dudes. Yeah, it was good stuff.
So go to the Port, dude. Rory Scovel is gonna be there in September, so you should get a ticket now because it's gonna sell out.
Yeah, nice. My keyboard player loves Rory.
Let's do it.
Top 5 comedians working right now.
Yeah, he's fucking great.
And then Magoobies is great. Magoobies is amazing, and everyone should go see comedy there. Yeah,
they got big names.
Huge. The biggest. Dude, that's Sam Morrill's going to be there. That's, everyone plays there.
Dice comes through, and he's a drummer.
Oh, my God.
Get him. Yeah.
Dude, yeah. So, listen, I appreciate you.
Yeah, dude, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
It was wonderful.
I hope you tell, anybody that you're associated with that we're normal people, and
we'll do for sure. Yeah,
because I've been trying to get a hold of Schlegel. He's got a hard internet presence. He doesn't do much on the internet. No. I know he's very busy, and it would be tough to get him in here. But
I think with Schlegel it's just tough because he's does radio.
Yeah,
it's obnoxious.
So there's no way he can be. He goes to bed at 7:00.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, oh yeah, right. The time wise.
Yeah, but I'll definitely let other comics know and bands.
It's awesome, man. Yeah, I said, we're just trying to expose everybody in Baltimore that doesn't know. You're gonna gain. I mean, at least with our core group of friends, who are regular listeners, you're gonna get some new fans out of them.
Dude,
and
I appreciate it.
Those guys live in Denver. A lot of them, a couple of them live in Denver. So
go to the Denver Comedy Lounge. Best club in
there. You
go.
Well,
you also have the Comedy Works.
Zaransky.
Yeah, man. Kearns is Zaransky.
Denver Comedy Lounge?
Denver Comedy Lounge. Great club. In the back of a sake restaurant.
Awesome.
Damn,
that's
nice.
even better. I'm going out there in September. Maybe I'll get them to go. But we don't have time. We're going to see. I'm a Fish fan. Well, we're Fish fans. And they always end their summer tour at Dick's. But the Orioles are playing the Rockies that weekend too.
I heard it's a great stadium, by the way.
Yeah, big Baltimore night.
That's awesome.
Denver.
Damn, I would love to see the Orioles in Denver.
Yeah. All right. Well, this was a pleasure. I dig it. And stay sane, Baltimore.
Yep. Out.
Hell yeah. Thanks. That was so fun.
Thanks for listening, Baltimore. You can find us at www.sanitylounge.com or on Instagram at sanity.lounge.
Keep listening and subscribe.
Stay sane, Baltimore.